I'm Sam Mitchell, and these are my stories. Hi folks, how are you today? Today, let me first welcome you to Autism Rocks and Rolls. Now before we begin, mess with I'm not a doctor or psychiatrist. If you're starting to be diagnosed with autism, please see a physician, at least based on my experiences. I also on the right to the intro and outro that I found on ytmp3.com. Also, I have a mission to share with with all of you. The mission of Autism Rocks and Rolls is to take the stigma off of autism and other conditions that may think are disabilities. People on the spectrum are not broken and do not need to be fixed. Those who have conditions or abilities want to be pitied. There's nothing to be sorry about. I also have some pay for the following. I have received contributions for the poker run from more folks. They are as follows: Brown County Music Center, Monroe Tough John, Chocolate Moose, WQRK 105.5, Dependable Dave, Lighthouse Meats, and Crane Credit Union from Bloomington, Indiana. We appreciate all that you carried out for us. It is now time to look at the iconic Indiana attraction, the Ruoff Music Center. This outdoor amphitheater in Noblesville, Indiana, with 18,000 general admission lawn seats and 6,147 pavilion seats available, is the biggest outside music venue in the Indianapolis area. Plus, with acts such as Luke Bryan, ZZ Top, Pitbull, and Jason Aldean, you will not leave disappointed. And there are some people I like to thank. Two things are going down tonight. First, at the Buskirk Chumley Theater, there will be convenience performing at 7:30 p.m. Like me, the goal is to do what their event is called: Stand Up for Disabilities. If you happen to be at the square in Bloomington, Indiana, you should go hear some jokes and laugh. That is not all. AR is currently in Pontiac, Illinois, and will be for the rest of the night. During this night, we have a summer concert at the Dodd 202 Guest House Alive Again Theater. Make sure to stop in to hear some great tunes. I had time to receive some Cutthroat Kitchen fan mail as well. They are from Chef Alexis Hernandez and Chef Jeff Torin. As always, I appreciate your time. There is a connection we need to talk about, and his name is Rob Ralston from Life Coaching for Special Needs Families. Rob, who is currently in his mid-50s, and his wife have a non-speaking 22-year-old child with autism. He wants to share with Life Coaching for Special Needs Families the journey of developing a child with autism, including his most recent diagnosis, his years in school growing up, all the therapies they have tried, and the unique habits our son has carried into adulthood as his time in the family business is coming to an end. Their intention is to assist these families in carrying on with happy lives in the face of hardship. Time will tell if you hear from them. Before our poker one, we went to my friend's WQRK 105.5 radio station and appeared on their Talk of the Town segment with Sarah Dwayne Turpin. It was great to see everyone and reappear on a cool show. Our second annual AR Poker Run concurred. It went great with our 31 bikers and amazing stops such as the Bad Apple Saloon in Corey, Indiana, the Mill in Bridgeton, Indiana, Route 67 in Worthington, and our friends the Feed Store Beer Company in Bloomfield, Indiana. Everyone had a blast. Extra thanks goes to Harley Davidson of Bloomington for letting me set up before the run, and the AR Board of Directors for working their tail off. That is not all. Even went to our friends the Bluebird and saw the AC/DC Thunderstruck Tribute Band, and we brought the bikers who came and used their tickets as their incentive for registering. Thank you to all who came. I had a great time. I even had some more time to do some personal development. This time it was a public speaking workshop at the Speakers Launchpad Workshop by Nicolette C. They said there would be some aha moments, and they were not lying. An extra thank you goes to Nicolette for letting me come into the room. Finally, I was on several podcasts and shows. I was on the Podcasting for Newbies podcast with Danny Marie, the Soul Serenity podcast with Abbas Nazir, the Mental Health Matters show with Dr. Audrey Tang, the Suicide Zen Forgiveness podcast with Elaine Lindsay, and the Stories That Inspire Hope show by Transformative Talk Radio. What a great group of podcasts and shows, everyone. Now, folks, due to some circumstances, we're going to do something a little different with advertisements for this episode. You'll be hearing back-to-back ads in one setting. So you're going to hear from our good old friends, Rock 96.1 radio station, Great White Smokes, and as usual, my dad, C1113, father and son chat, will take over when he talks about the Harley Davidson of Bloomington. So let's get to it. We want to thank 96.1 The Quarry, especially David and Dan Hayes, for being a gold sponsor for our Summerfest. 96.1 residents in Bloomington, Indiana, and like Autism Rocks and Rolls, they rock and roll too. Visit their website at rock961fm.com to hear them out. And when they're on the station, be sure to listen to them live on their website or catch them on the radio in your car. If you like Kiss, Queen, 80s rock, or ZZ Top, I think you have found your station. 96.1 also supports our veterans, so you should support them too. Visit 96.1 in the town of Bloomington, Indiana. You can find the best barbecue meat at Great White Smoke. Owned by Dave White, Great White Smoke offers meat catering for events such as weddings and birthday parties. They've won awards such as the 2021 #1 food truck in America Grand Champion and the 2019 Kentuckiana Barbecue Pitmasters King of the Q. If you are looking for someone to cook meat for your event, then Dave is your guy. Book them for your next event at 812-229-7571. You can drop them an email on their contact page as well.
It's official. Harley-Davidson of Bloomington is a sponsor to Autism Rocks and Rolls. Located on Gordy Pike in Bloomington, they take pride in providing the best selection of both new and used motorcycles. This Harley-Davidson cherishes the chance to build a lasting relationship with its clients. This is done by going above and beyond your expectations. An example is they give you the chance to take your dream motorcycle for a test run. Like every Harley-Davidson dealer, there are not only motorcycles, but they also have legendary Harley-Davidson t-shirts and helmets. If you are a motorcyclist, stop at one of their events, such as Bike Night or the Poker Run we are hosting. Be sure to drop in for a cup of coffee or give them a call at 812-333-8300. That's 812-333-8300. As they say, it's a lifestyle and it's a family.
All right, folks, everybody can definitely rock out to 96.1 radio station, and you could hear Smoke on the Water at Great White Smokes, and you could meet Harley-Davidson at Harley-Davidson in Bloomington, Indiana. You never know. Today's a treat for my professional wrestling peers because I have with me WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts. Mr. Roberts, who is frequently regarded as one of the most infamous characters in professional wrestling, was well known for his dark charm, intense, and intelligent promos, heavy use of deception in his bouts, and creative application of the DDT finisher. He is on my show because he has 2 grandchildren with autism and cerebral palsy. However, Jake has his own story, as he went through drug and childhood abuse and currently has COPD, but it does not stop him from living his life. Let's welcome the Snake himself, Jake the Snake Roberts, to Autism Rocks and Rolls. Mr. Roberts, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful.
I'm so glad you are. So my first question to you is, what does having 2 grandchildren with autism and cerebral palsy mean to you?
They are so gifted beyond. They're intelligent. They're very special.
Can you tell me what some of the things they do that you believe you see is gifted?
Just their intensity towards any project that they go towards. Very focused till they figure it out.
Right. I get that a lot too. I'm the type of person who will not leave the room until the project is done. Also, just out of curiosity, did one of your grandchildren go on the stage with you when you were getting inducted?
Yes, it did.
We had a theory, but we weren't for sure. What were your initial thoughts when you learned your 2 grandchildren had autism and cerebral palsy?
Well, it's not my first go with somebody that has that. I had a stepbrother that had it. I got introduced to that years ago. Found out that these 2 had the same issues. I was more open to it and realized it is what it is, but let's see what it is. Because they are very different, but they're also very beautiful.
And that's what's so frustrating to me, Jake, is people want to see they can't do this. They can't do this. Where are you looking at? Oh my gosh, they're so focused.
Yeah, well, they can do so much that I can't do.
Could you list some examples, please?
Just day by day, man, dealing with the dog. They're so patient, so loving.
Right, that's pretty cool. I can see that with grandchildren too. And hey, I can tell they love their Papa Jake.
Oh yeah, I love Papa Jake, all right.
What is the most rewarding and the most difficult thing about having 2 grandchildren with autism and CP?
Just the fact that each day they seem to come up with another victory. Each day they seem to break the wall down a little bit more, and it's not a struggle for them. They're just there doing it.
What advice would you give to other grandparents and grandfathers who have grandchildren with autism or cerebral palsy?
Just be patient and keep your eyes open. They'll surprise you.
I want to go into more of your story with your drug and alcohol abuse. You said in a lot of interviews, cocaine was the #1 drug you did. When you were using cocaine, what about it was so addicting?
It just did everything I needed, man. I wanted to blow through where I was at. I didn't like who I was. And when I did cocaine, I became something else. It just ramped me up to where I just was going 100 miles an hour. And I wanted my mind to be doing 100 miles an hour too. And it was.
And I've seen the alcohol abuse, and I never got to see what drugs can do to someone, but I've heard the stories.
Drugs and alcohol is a one-way street, and it's not going the right direction.
When did you start seeing the drugs and alcohol were basically killing you, and you said, all right, it's time to stop?
I seen that a long time ago, but I still couldn't stop. Sometimes I'd go 2 or 3 days without it, but then it would be right back on me. And this went on till I was probably my early 50s. Finally, I hooked up with DDP when I was 55. Had that opportunity to try to get clean one more time. Moved in with him, not believing it was going to work, but he had a little surprise for me. He had me doing quite a bit of doing lots of different things. One of them was doing DDPY yoga. Doing DDPY yoga kept me focused. It got my mind off the drug. The more I did, the better shape I got. Once my body started to change, I was hooked on it. I just found myself another addiction, but this was a good one.
Well, he did phenomenal with you. It was amazing because that is very mind-blowing of how yoga transferred your mindset. And some people don't believe yoga can do it.
Living proof.
There is the question I do have about your childhood abuse, and you said this on Dark Side of the Ring. You had to throw Aurelian out the door. You had to, or you wouldn't have made it. Why exactly did you have to throw Aurelian out the door?
Because he was a broken kid. He was beat down. He had been used. I had to become my alter ego.
Do you ever still have points where you feel like you're Aurelian?
Yeah, I have moments.
Could you name one?
When I'm around the grandkids, all the defenses seem to come down.
It was a good way they portray the dark side of the ring, may I add, because I bet it did help a lot of people.
I hope so.
And you are a suicide survivor. So first of all, I would like to congratulate you for surviving suicide. But what was the one time you would say that you were surprised you didn't die?
I had taken a handful of Valium. It should have killed me because I had taken like 75 pills. What happened was I threw up in my sleep, and that saved my life.
If you had to estimate how much puke was all over you?
Not too damn much.
I took Valium once for a surgery, and that can do some stuff to you. And I just took one. Well, my thing was I had to go for a wisdom tooth surgery. And I fell asleep on the floor just because I didn't feel like getting up. And my parents literally had to guide me to go to the car. I'm thinking, why are there two Equinoxes when literally there's one car? So you also have COPD. I would actually like you to educate me on COPDs. What is COPD?
It's a disease of the lungs, man. Just to keep it to where everybody can understand it and just keep it short. It just feels like somebody's sitting on your chest and you can't breathe. That's the way I feel all the time.
So in retrospect, it's a non-contagious pneumonia 24/7?
Right.
Got it. So I want to talk more about your finisher that you use, the DDT. In modern wrestling today, who has the best DDT?
None of them. Just me.
You do make it pretty darn good.
They don't get up when I do it.
No, they don't get up. And plus with yours, it's simple, but it's so effective. And with these new DDTs, as much as I think they're cool, there's nothing special about it.
No, they're not.
Now I want to talk to you more about your character. In your opinion, do you like being a baby face or a heel better?
I'd much rather be a heel. As a heel, you can go out and do anything you want. It's up to you. But as a baby face, there's things that are expected of you to do. You got to be more of a crowd pleaser. But as a heel, you can go out there and piss everybody off, and it's great.
My favorite one from what I've heard from a certain series on Storytime is when you dressed up as Santa.
Yeah.
Did that much people want to kill you?
Yes, they did.
Didn't you say they also mauled other Santas?
The next day I read the newspaper where Santas had been beaten up on their way home.
We got a new type of rage, Santa rage. Now, how would you describe your ring style?
Well, it's certainly different. Cold and collected.
And I would say, if I may add, methodical.
Yeah, methodical's a good one.
Now, we got to talk about your legendary snakes. What would you say is the funniest mishap with the snake?
I had one get away from me in Australia, and it wound up going into the sewer system at the arena. One of the guys had come out of the shower, and he was walking by the toilets, and the snake came up through the toilet and looked around at him and went back down. That was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. That's a story. Who could say they've seen a snake in the bathroom? Now, it would have been funny if he wiped and then saw the snake when he was bending down.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
After the snake had hit him in the ass.
Yeah. You also were on Storytime, as I previously said. Why don't you tell us your favorite story you told on Storytime?
Oh, I can't remember, boss. My memory's pretty much gone.
I can remember one of them. Andre farting on you.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
So how else did Andre torture you other than basically crop dusting?
He used to knock me on my butt. Then he would stand on my hair, reach down and grab my arms and pull, which just ripped my hair out.
Oh, I remember you saying that one.
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's not like you can get up and kick his ass.
No, you really can't. Andre is too big for you to kick, apparently. Didn't you say Andre was the most scaredy cat of the snakes?
No, he wasn't afraid of that snake.
Then who was?
Kamala.
Did you torture the guy with the snake?
No, I didn't.
Okay, at least you saved his soul. So there was something I noticed too on your A&E biography. You bit of a fisherman?
Yep, love to fish.
What type of fish you like to catch?
Stripers.
How about crappie? You ever been crappie fishing?
Yeah, I love to fish for crappie.
I'll tell you a good place, Jake. Bait, Mississippi, Lake Sardis. You'll catch the fish in no time. There's your fishing trip for you. I think they also have a competition down there as well.
I like competition.
Hey, I'm a competitive person too. We thought about competing, but then we thought, nah, we want to go for the fish, not the fried. There's something else you say on that A&E biography. You don't get to choose the way someone loves you. How do you choose to love your children/grandchildren?
I'm still learning.
Wow, that's powerful, brother. What have you done to learn?
I just try to give them everything their heart needs. I try to listen. I try to stay focused on their needs.
And that's crucial with those for the autism spectrum.
Absolutely.
They have lots of needs. And if you don't give it to them, they're not going to make it. And I want to talk to you about, I call it the night. This was the night when your father pretty much humiliated you. And he pretty much said you were never amount to nothing. First of all, I'm going to tell your father right now, I wish he was alive so he could eat those words, because he would be ashamed for saying that.
Well, I don't know, man. He's pretty stuck in his ways.
What did you do after he said those words?
Oh, I cried.
You don't deserve that. And I'll tell you this too. Your father doesn't deserve a man like you. You're a way better man than him.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime, brother. So you did return to wrestling in 1996. How did Vince McMahon reach out to you and ask you if you wanted to return?
It was a phone call.
I'm glad that he allowed you to put the Christian spin on your character.
Yeah.
I could tell that was more you than your first run. What'd you say was your favorite match from the time you were returning in 1996?
Me and Austin.
Austin, yeah, that was a good one. I was able to watch the match, and it created Stone Cold Steve Austin. And in retrospect, it created the next Snake. I also want to talk to you about this view on how you like the time you wrestled better compared to this version's wrestling. You said the finishers don't make sense.
They don't today. Nobody respects the finisher. Nobody respects the other guy's finisher. They basically just go through everything in the book and then they wind up doing something silly to win with.
There's this one person who, in my opinion, copied off the finisher. In my opinion, has a better finisher. But I think it's not theoretical. With your finisher, I could tell there was some drama behind it. With today's, it's just, ooh. That's what creates wrestling. It's not just taking bumps or flying off the top rope, being an actor. I think today's wrestling forgets about that a little bit. I did hear you also are a bullying survivor because you got bullied by Bill Watts. What's the worst time he bullied you?
When he tore my contract up at WCW.
In front of your face.
Yep.
You don't do that. No, it's like me going for a job saying, hey, you don't get the job. No. And I watched more of your interviews and it didn't seem like the nicest guy. But he was nice to the Junkyard Dog, apparently. Was Junkyard Dog pretty cool, though?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was pretty cool, man. But he had demons, too.
I've also heard at one point you hit the lowest low, and I could see it in your eyes. It was when you were attending the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view in 1999. How the heck did you end up there?
I don't even remember.
Have you seen clips of yourself?
No.
Well, I'll tell you. Best you stay away from it. It's best we leave that behind the curtain. I also have heard you had a lot of self-hate. You even took down the mirrors. Your sister, Robin, wanted you to put the mirrors back up. So have you put the mirrors back up?
Yep.
And when did you decide to start taking mirrors down?
Long time ago, man. Probably when I was about 55 years old. I'm 69 now. So about 14, 15 years ago is when I ripped them all down.
You also got a nickname, Buster. How'd you get the nickname Buster?
I have no idea. That was something my grandmother gave to me.
And you also, before you wanted to be a wrestler, wanted to be an architect. So what did you find fascinating about buildings?
Just the shapes.
Did you have to learn a lot of geometry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I mean, geometry shapes. What do you expect?
Yeah. Math.
Not a math boy. I'd rather do English. 5-page paper over 2 plus 2 any day, bud. And then you also have a podcast as well, The Snake Pit. How the Snake Pit start up?
Just somebody had an idea. They brought it to me, and I thought, well, let's try this for a while. And we've been doing it ever since.
Well, hey, how about me as a guest sometime?
We might do that.
That would be kind of fun, I think. So I've also heard your stepfather got electrocuted. How did that concur?
Oh, boy, that was a bad one. He was doing some repair work in the attic of the house. The roof was made of metal, and he got up against the roof and hit a live wire, and it electrocuted him.
I'll tell you this much. I can relate, believe it or not, because my father in C1113, father and son chat, is an electrician. There's a lot of risk he takes, and I'm always scared that he's going to get hit by a wire and get electrocuted as well. I kind of relate to others getting shot because a couple of my dad's family, I don't remember who exactly, got struck by lightning.
Wow, that's terrible.
Oh, it is terrible. I'm surprised they survived. So what is your paradise meal or favorite food, and why is it your favorite?
Prime rib, I love the taste.
That's a great one. I'm a meat guy too, but I might prefer chicken wings instead.
No. Smoked prime rib.
What is your favorite vacation you've ever taken, and why did you enjoy that vacation very much?
Maui. Went to Maui in Hawaii.
I've heard that's a good one. We've tried to go to Hawaii, but just can't afford it because it's so darn expensive.
Yeah, it is very expensive.
Are there any good memories that you want to tell our listeners about? If you do, why do you remember them? So before you answer, I would like just something really sentimental and a funny memory that made you fall on the floor laughing.
When the snake bit the referee in the locker room in Oakland, California, I fell on the floor laughing so hard because the Macho Man had got involved in it, and he wound up getting his nose broken.
Hey, you talk like this? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, thank you again. Is there any closing remarks?
Oh, yeah, man. Just people keep your eyes and ears open for my celebrity cruise I'm doing. It's February 23rd through the 28th, and we'll be going to Mexico, man. So check that out and find information about it on my website, and just keep your ears open. You'll hear about it.
All right. I'll make sure my listeners do that, and I'll be sure to do it. Jake, thank you again. Have a great one, buddy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Trust me, 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 trust me.
Thanks for joining me for this episode. Please tune in for another episode coming very soon. Hope you enjoy listening to me ramble. Thank you very much.